Hey, what's up, everyone? Today we have a super special guest for the show. I'm so excited about this because we always hear about having an online course and growing your tribe with online courses. So today I have a very special guest for the show. Her name is Tara Bryan, and she teaches people how to create raving fans and lifelong customers to creating and selling online course experience. So welcome, Tara. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, so tell us about online courses and how we can create better relationships and all those superpowers that you teach your audience.
Awesome. Well, let me share my screen. Can you see my deck okay?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, awesome. So today I wanted to teach you about how to turn your unique superpower into an online course business while still living the life you want, having the freedom you desire and deserve, and the ability to manage your time and family. So in today's training, I am going to teach you the kind of 3 key things to think about and stay away from as you are turning your superpower into an online course. So that's what we're going to cover today. Oops, hang on. All right, so first of all, I want to start with one of my favorite quotes. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it, right? Just get it started. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And so this is sort of the philosophy that I go with as I'm starting something new or transitioning or really looking at how do I take what I'm doing and throw jet fuel on it is to begin and go with boldness. All right, so in today's training, we are going to talk about the 3 biggest mistakes to turning your superpower into an online course business. And so by the end of this training, you are going to know how to not make these mistakes as you are transitioning to building your online course. So the first mistake is that that you're just doing all of your work one-on-one and what done for your clients. So if you're a coach or a consultant or an agency owner and you're working on growing your business and you're just doing one-on-one and done for you, you end up with the time that you end up just like needing to clone yourself, right? And I don't know if anyone has felt like that already, that you're in that position of cloning yourself. So we're going to talk about how to totally jump over that superpower kryptonite that exists in so much of our businesses. The second one is creating and personalizing a unique approach for every single one of those clients, right? So if you show up and you're doing something totally different for each one of those clients, there's actually a different way of doing that. So that is the second mistake. And the third is that if you get into the course building game, that you actually build your entire course before you sell it. That is the third major mistake that people make when they get into this this round of the business. So those are the 3 goals that we have today. Is I am going to show you how to completely eliminate these from your business and your course building business as you jump into that. All right, so who am I? My name is Tara Bryan. As my slides are not, I'm gonna turn to presentation mode and hope that that helps this flipping around business.
That works. Awesome.
Okay, there we go. All right, so who am I? So as Angela said, I'm Tara Bryan, and I help coaches and consultants and entrepreneurs and agency owners who are in a one-on-one and done-for-you services type business model transform to creating either an additional revenue source or completely transforming their business into a one-to-many model through online courses, which includes kind of the online and automation piece that's so important as we grow and scale our businesses. But so my superpower is really helping people package their expertise and their passion and get it sold online and primarily through online courses. So that's my passion. That's what I've been doing for the past 20 years plus. I really specialize in helping people produce results, which in turn creates raving fans and long-term customers, because that's the business that we're in, right? It takes way more money to acquire a new customer than it does to retain and love on the ones that you already have. And so how do you do that through online courses is one of the things that I teach in my program called Learn Academy. But my story started actually when I was in corporate, and I took the traditional route like many of you. I did the school thing, I did the corporate job thing, and took a very traditional route to how I was working and helping people. And I was in corporate, and I sort of had this dream, this sort of niggling thing going on, where it was like, you know what, I would love to be able to go out on my own and start my own thing, make a bigger impact, help more people, and really do my thing for additional people. So I had this dream as I was in corporate, and the result of that, I thought, was going to look a lot like this, right? I was going to go out and I was going to do my thing, and I was going to make a big impact.
We all wish.
Right. And this is what my life was going to look like, right? It was going to be, this thing. Well, and funny enough, and I will tell this quick story, is that when I met Angela, one of my favorite stories with her, she's talking about this concept called digital nomad. And so while like this was my dream, I had no idea that was even a thing, that you could actually work from anywhere. I always knew I wanted to sort of have more flexibility and not work in my corporate office, but like being actually able to live and work anywhere on the planet was just like this foreign concept to me. So I remember, Angela, I don't know if you remember that, but when we first met, that was our conversation. My eyes like bugged out of my head, and I was like, "You're what? That's amazing! That was my dream."
That same thing happened to me when back in the day when I was a mechanical engineer. I was working in corporate, and I met this girl from Chile, and she was like, yeah, I've been to Japan and Australia and the UK. And she started mentioning all these countries, and I was like, how do you do that? How do you make money? How do you travel so much? And she was like, I work online. And I was like, wait, what?
What? Yeah, what? What you mean you don't have to sit in an office all day? What are you talking about? What?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the dream, right? Like I went from this to going, okay, yep, this is what it's going to be like, and it's going to be awesome. So I put my shingle up. I opened my agency, which is called TLS Learning, and it's a custom digital learning agency that we primarily help corporations. So I went out on my own and started serving more of the people that I had been working with at Wells Fargo for a number of years. And so my reality sort of looked more like this than what it looked like, from the dream, right? It sort of looked more like this, where I was working more hours and I was helping more people, which was great. But I was doing done for you services. I was doing one-on-one work. And so the more I would work, the more time I would take, right? Because my time was totally associated with how I was working with clients. And so in reality, my dream was just a little bit different than what I had imagined. And so, I was working with people. I was doing awesome work. I have all of the credentials, right? Like I've put in the hours. I'm an expert at this. And then this happened. It is that not all at one time, but over time, this happened. And the little peanut in the corner was my second child. And I found myself when I went out on my own doing done for you work, when I got to a certain point, I could only scale by adding more and more hours. And my reality sort of came crashing down when she was born. She's the one with the pink scarf there. And this is actually an old picture. She's 12 now, but came crashing down because the day she was born, I literally had a laptop on my belly while I was holding her, trying to finish a client project, because that was the reality, right? Is that my time was associated with the work that I was doing. And so I knew that there had to be a different way to get to that level of freedom, that dream that I was really looking for when I went out and into corporate, outside of corporate. And so I don't know if you are like me or you have a similar story, but the dream always seems to be a little bit different when you take your kind of the thing that you've been doing and try and do it in a different way. Until I figured out how to, funny enough, package my expertise, what I was doing, into an online course. So, hopefully you're not as slow of a learner as I am, is that I was building online courses, custom online courses for people for a very long time. But it wasn't until that moment that I decided to package my own courses and start selling them. And so kind of gone on a journey from there. So that is the one on my left is Samantha. She's the one that was in my little helper in this picture. She used to sit on my desk in a bumbo. I don't know if anyone knows what a bumbo is, but it's this little plastic thing that she'd just sit right there and work with me. And so, one of the ways that I give back in terms of this is with Learn Academy, which is my signature online course that I help people create, sell, and launch their own online course. So that is my journey to really discovering how to take my superpower and throw jet fuel on it and really change that whole trajectory.
I love that's a great superpower to have. Guys, if you don't have an online course, if you don't have that stream of revenue without killing yourself, working extra hours, then you need to do that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. It's the way to go. And it's definitely, as I'm going to talk about in the rest of this presentation, like, how do you do that? How do you take your superpower and start looking at it in a way where you can package it and provide your expertise to change your model from one-to-one to one-to-many, because that's really where the power starts coming in. And then you add automation and moving it online, and then it's like an explosion. All right, so the very first thing that you need to do is define your superpower, right? So the thing is that if even if you're a coach or a consultant or in running your own agency right now, there is something about what you do that is your passion, right? It drives everything else that happens in your business. And when you're looking at packaging your expertise in a new way, it's important to kind of define what that superpower is, right? Because usually it's not like all of it. It's like a part, a slice of what you're doing that you really love and that you really can help impact the success of other people. So a couple of facts. That there's a need, if there's a need in your market, there's an opportunity to take what you know and make money at it, right? I think all of us, if we're in business already, have that core belief, but it's also true with your expertise. Sometimes when we sort of are doing done-for-you services with people, because we're providing a service, we're helping them out, we're doing the thing, that's a different level of value than our expertise and what we bring to the table. So if there is a need in the market, there is an opportunity for you to take your expertise and package it. And the other thing that's so very true is that there are people out there who are just waiting for you to show up and help them succeed. Like, I just believe this at my core, that somebody out there is just waiting for you to show up in this way and provide this level of value. So those are the two facts about defining your superpowers. A couple of questions to ask if you are not sure yet what your superpower is what do you love to do that you would do without being paid? That's like a really powerful question, because you know that there's just that thing that you're like, oh, it's so easy for me, I'll just go ahead and do it. That is a really good clue that it's something that would be in your realm of superpower. And what do people ask you questions about all of the time? I will give you a caveat with this one. Make sure that if you hang your expertise or your superpower on this, that it's a question that you like to answer. Don't pick something that you don't like to answer. All right. And then what have you gone to school for or developed mastery in, right? What do you feel like is your thing? Those are three great questions if you are looking to define your superpower. All right, so once you've defined your superpower, then we're going to look at how do we not make these mistakes as we start to package our expertise in a completely new way. So the first mistake is really that you're thinking about your business as all one-on-one or done for you work, right? So here's the challenge with that, is that if you're doing one-on-one work and done for you services, it's all tied to your time, right? And as we know, time is your biggest constraint and your biggest opportunity, right? It's the thing that you can't get back. It's the thing that ties you up, right? So you can't travel, you can't do all those other things because of the time it's taking you to do something. I always come back to that when I think about my daughter and how I had to jump on the computer instead of taking some time to just kind of recover and enjoy her birth, right? So in that way, with that mistake, you can really only grow by cloning yourself, right? Because the truth is that the only way to grow and separate your time from your income is to package your expertise into a one-to-many model, meaning you're helping more people than just that one person, right? That allows you to jump over that time barrier. Because the fact is that you only have about 2,000 hours tops, right? And that's looking at the traditional, 52 weeks, 40 hours a week, right? Like you're maxed out. So you get it, that many one-on-one clients, and then you're done, right? Then you have to think about how else you want to grow.
Or you need to start hiring people, which costs a lot of money, so that you can fulfill that work.
Yes. And that's the cloning piece, right? Then you have to actually hire other people to do what you're doing, which means you have to teach and manage them to do it the way that you want it done and that you have to do it. And yes, it's very expensive. And then you have to, have enough work to bring in for them. Yeah, it adds lots and lots of complexity. So you get to a certain place and you're sort of stuck, right? You're stuck in, you just don't have any more time. So you have to think about a different option. And then at some point, time will hinder your ability to grow and help people, right? So if your goal is to make a bigger impact and to help people, at some point, time is going to be your constraint. And so with this, I have this revenue calculator, and it's such a powerful model. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but if you're interested in it, let Angela know and I can grab it for you. Is it you look at like where you max out what's done on one-on-one work, and then you look at kind of group coaching and how much time it takes you to show up each week, and then where you max out, and then with an automated online course, how much time it takes you each week and where you max out, and how fast you can get to a level of income that's your goal using a different method than the one-on-one and done for you services. So it's a great way to sort of look at the data, look at the math, and figure it out. And then I love this little picture down at the bottom, because this tends to also be the problem with one-on-one services and client work, right? If you if you have clients, you know what I'm talking about, is that most of the time they don't know what they want, but they want it right now, right? And so you have those competing priorities.
That I'm going to take a screenshot of that and put it on my wall, because that is hilarious. I have to deal with clients every day, and it's so funny when they don't know what they want, but they want it right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yesterday, right? Yeah, and can you magically do it?
Yeah. I love my clients with all my heart. If you guys are watching, I love you. But
it's true. Yes. It's true. And then they would agree, right? They would agree with that as well. So this is just an example of somebody that I've worked with who kind of ran into this trap. And sometimes it's not about completely changing everything that you're doing. Sometimes it's taking the part of your business that you can package and make into an online solution that's automated, that saves you a ton of time, right? So Kim went through Learn Academy, and one of her goals was actually not to replace the one-on-one relationship she had, right? She still wanted to meet with people one-on-one, but there was all this time that she had to spend upfront educating them and getting them organized in terms of, she works with people who are going to look to get Medicare coverage. So just spent hours and hours and hours and hours with them, educating them on the options and what was out there and what everything meant and all of these things. And so her goal was to create a course for them to take before they met with her, to cut down the amount of time it took for her to have those conversations. And so it dramatically changed the amount of time that she was spending with each customer, so she could serve more people in a broader capacity by just changing the way that she packaged what she did. So sometimes it's not about like, I'm going to throw away my whole business. Sometimes it's looking at parts of your business that you can package and leverage your time with. All right, so that was mistake number one. Mistake number two is creating a personalized and unique approach for each one of those one-on-one or done-for-you clients. So when you are thinking about packaging your expertise, packaging your superpower, this is one of the key core sort of mind shifts that you need to make, is that the value that you offer your customer actually isn't in doing something different every single time. The value is actually in providing them the fastest path to get to results. And this concept I love is, I call it 50 First Dates in the agency. And 50 First Dates is literally, I don't know if you've seen this movie, Angela, but it's a great movie. If you haven't watched it, you guys should watch it.
I totally see the point of this. That's a great analogy.
Yeah, so 50 First Dates, the movie concept is that she has a brain injury, so she wakes up every day and literally repeats the day, the same day over and over and over and over again, right? And so when you're running an agency or doing done for you work or one-on-one, what tends to happen is each time you work with a new client, you're reinventing the wheel, which is very exhausting and doesn't allow you to grow and scale, right? So even if you're hiring employees, you have to get to this place. So one of the things that we work on is, how do you look at what you're doing and really create a path that allows people to follow it, that's not unique and different for every single one. And 99.9% of the time, the way that you're working with clients is similar, right? There just may be some nuances in there that are happening.
And so that comes down to everything in business, from all the systems and processes that you have in your business.
Yep.
It has to be automated. I used to have that same thing, like 50 First Dates with all my clients. Just asking them for the login details was a time-consuming task for me, until I said, okay, I need to automate this process of getting their login details and getting their information. Everything needs to be automated so that you can liberate that time.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the power of it, right? Is once it's in a framework where you can then teach other people how to do it, or make it consistent, then that's something that you can package into an online course and help serve your people in a completely different way. And so some questions for this one would be, what are you doing today, either one-on-one, paid or free, doesn't matter, that you can, that has a specific set of steps? How can you identify the steps that you are working on with them? And sometimes it's the sort of standard operating procedures, but most of the time it's steps to get them to success, whatever success looks like in terms of what you're selling, in terms of a service. How can you look at that full relationship, where they are today, where they're starting and where they're ending up, and find those steps, those common steps that they all have? That is where you start with that success path, so you can start to turn that into an online course. And then looking at, like, is it possible to group your clients so they have similar steps and results? This is something that I get all the time from people, is, well, all my clients are totally different. They all have different needs. They all have different problems. Everything that they're asking me for is completely different. So there's two things around that. One is you may need to focus in on one client, right? One niche that you want to focus on, especially if you're running an agency and you have 52 different clients types that you bring in. You may have to focus on one in order to grow it, in order to scale it and turn it into an automated online course. Or you just have to start looking at a little bit differently at how you are, what's the 80% that's the same for each one of those clients, because there's probably a process or a set of steps that you're using for all of them. And then there's just kind of some random nuances in there that then you can manage a little bit differently. And then what are the results are you consistently getting for them? When you look at like, what are you trying to accomplish for your clients? What are those things that are consistently coming up for you in terms of results? That's another clue that you can use to then backtrack and figure out the steps. So that is the second mistake, is not thinking about your how you help people become successful, not putting that into kind of a step-by-step success path or framework. Here's some different things that kind of have helped people. When you look at the expertise framework, it's finding your superpower, finding your people, providing them with results, right, and giving them that path. So that's sort of the frame that we use as we go through this. This is another person in my program, and she overcame shyness as she stepped into being a business owner. So she created a framework and a course that teaches other women how to do that same thing so they can increase their sales and show up as a bigger version of themselves. So she's created a whole Shy Mama project, is what she calls it, which is taking her framework of how she built that success path and then turning that into an automated course. So that's an example of somebody who has kind of tripped on that mistake and then jumped right over it. Okay, the third one is take your superpower and build an online course or program without selling it first. So this is like, you've already, well, keep going. What?
I'm so excited about that mistake because that's a mistake I made when I was starting. Mm-hmm. It took me 6 months to create my first online course, right? I was starting in my entrepreneurial journey. Everybody kept telling me, you need to build an online course. And I was just starting. I was just a mechanical engineer. I had no idea about all of these things online. But, I read some books, I did some courses. So people around me started seeing me as the expert in social media. I was like, okay, then I'm going to do my online course. It took me about 7 months to record the entire course. And then guess what? I started selling it and crickets.
Yep, that's what happens.
I was like, okay, that was a big mistake. It was a huge waste of time because I didn't sell anything. And okay, now knowing what I know after 3 years of doing this, there's so many things I could have done with that course, but I absolutely agree. You need to, okay, I won't spoil your teaching. That is a huge mistake. Don't do it. Don't sell without, don't do your course without selling first. I made that mistake and it took 7 months of Well, and that's so common, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, obviously, but it's so common to make this mistake, right? So often, to your point, as you're sort of declaring your superpower, you're like, great, all right, I've been working with one-on-one or done for you services. All right, great, I'm going to shift. That makes sense. Or I'm going to, change part of my business so I can include something that's more packaged. I'm going to look at, what is the success path? What's the roadmap that I'm creating for people? And that's like, great. All right, now I'm going to create my course. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to take me all this time. And that is to your point, one of the biggest mistakes that people make. And there are a number of reasons people make this mistake that I'll get into in a second. But it's definitely something to, think about and not do. So absolutely. The truth is pre-selling your online course or program is the best experience you can give your people. So often, before I get into kind of the facts on the side, is so often people believe that you can't sell something before it's created. And that's totally false, right? Because here's the thing is that we're not saying like, show up, randomly and start teaching, right? No, you're going to build your framework, your success path, your whole frame for your online course. And then you're going to start pre-selling it to people. So you're actually going to teach it live with your people. So because here's the thing. If you think of this, and this like really listen to this because this is important.
when you go to sign up for like a seminar or a workshop or anything that you go to live, when we actually used to go to live trainings, right? Do you pay before you show up in the room, or do you pay after?
You pay before.
You pay before, right? So if you pay before, and that's a normal scenario, right? There's not really a case where somebody would say, come to my college class, or come to my workshop, or my class that I'm doing over at XYZ, building, where they'd say, just come, enjoy it. And then after you're done, just pay me, right? Because it's, you'll have experienced it, so you know what's there. So then you can decide whether or not it's good. Right? Like, that's not a thing. But for some reason, we think that when we ask people to join our course that we're doing for the first time, or that we're doing as a live session, that unless it's pre-built, we can't sell it to them. So just like think about that for a minute, right? Because this is a belief that a lot of people have, is that you can't pre-sell something that doesn't exist. Why not?
That's a big lie.
Right? Right? Because it's like, if I sell you a workshop that's in person and I've never done it before, are you going to say, well, I'm not going to pay you because you haven't done it yet? No. Right? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So think about that, because that's a hurdle that a lot of people have. In Learn Academy, one of the core foundations that we talk about is that the goal is to actually teach your course live in an MVP, a minimum viable product, so a beta, before you go and create all your assets. So what you're doing is you're still preparing it all, right? You know exactly, kind of what you're going to teach, and it's organized, right? You have an agenda, you have all of the pieces, but you're not producing videos, you're not producing all of the things until you've taught it with live people, to get that feedback, to get them results, and all of that. So we always do a pre-sale of the beta, and then teach it live for the first time, and then package it into an online course. It gives you so much great data and information about what's working for people, where you need to maybe spend some more time, what questions are coming up. The ultimate piece of this is that your people who come in as founding members are actually like getting the best experience, because when else are you going to show up at the highest level and do everything in your power to get them results, because you want this thing to work, right? And so your pre-sale is actually the best experience that you give to people. So
absolutely.
There you go.
I would love to tell you guys my story behind the first time I did this, right? Like a beta group. And so it was back when I was doing funnel nomads, right? I was teaching people how to build funnels so they can travel the world and be a nomad. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to make the same mistake I did before. I'm going to record it live, just like you're saying. And I did this presentation, and I created my webinar. And at the end I said, well, I'm doing these beta launch. You guys can join me in my group. And it was crazy. I closed 50% of the room, which was the most insane thing ever on a beta group. I've never done these before. I was like, okay, guys, we're going to teach these live. I closed 50% of the room. It was insane. And then I did my course. I taught it live. It was amazing. And those people that were in my original course that I created as a beta, guess what? They are my biggest fans right now.
Yep.
And one of them is even my employee right now, because he loved everything so much that he learned in that course that now he works with me. We've been working together for almost 2 years now. Yep. And that was the foundation for the biggest fans in my entire business. The people that have been promoting me, the people that comment on my videos, that comment on my posts. That's the best way to create that relationship.
100%. And it probably was more fun than taking 7 months to film videos. right?
And
Because
more effective, and it made me more money.
Right, exactly. And that's the power of this, right? So in Learn Academy, that's literally what we teach people how to do is, put together your framework and your success path, so you know who you're serving, what results you're getting for them, and then the steps that you're going to create for them, and then jump directly to the pre-sale and do your beta, do all of that, and then go from there and automate it and put it into a system that allows you to start scaling it. But that is the power of pre-selling your beta, your pre-selling your course. But yeah, I love that story, because that's exactly the truth, is that not only are you creating the right thing, right, and not just wasting all this time creating videos, but you're also getting those raving fans, those people who are going to stay with you because you showed up, you made sure that they got the results, because that was your first group, right? You wanted to make sure that it was all dialed in before you automated it. So that's awesome. That's a much better story than the one that I was going to tell. but it's the same story. It's literally, it changes the game, because the other advantage of that, to be honest, is you get money to build your course, right? You get that seed money to start building out your course. And so it gives you a little wiggle room as you are working on the automation and all the pieces that go with that.
Absolutely.
All right, so a couple of questions with this one. How can you find 5 super fans to join your program? So you could have, depending upon where you are, you could have, tons of people come into your beta, but you really only need 5 super fans who can come in and give you feedback and give you everything that you need to really get to that place where you have the ability to give people results. So we always say, like, shoot for 5. And if you don't have a list yet, you don't have a big audience, 5 is doable. And so that's where I start having people think. And, if you already have a huge audience and a huge list and you can get, hundreds of people in, awesome. That's amazing. But for most people who are starting to define their superpower and sort of transition from a one-on-one or done for you model, 5 to 10 tends to be realistic in terms of who comes in. And that's all you need. You just need 5 super fans who are going to participate, and which is better than 100 people who don't participate, right? And then looking at what's that MVP, what's that minimum viable product that you can create that will help you get in the game and start building out that course. And then how can your superpower shine through while you're teaching live? I love this one, because this is, just what you were saying, Angela, is like, how do you show up and help your people, right? What does that look like? And what does that look like for you specifically as you start to lead with your superpower? I should have that picture of the gal with the cape in this one, because that's where you really start to shine, because your passion and your love for what you're doing comes out as you're teaching it live.
Yes, and there's something else really important there. I tell my clients all the time, just picture this. When you're doing a recorded video, if you mess up, if you say the wrong word, what is your instant reaction? You're going to stop the video and start all over again. Mm-hmm. So it's really common that if you're pre-recording your videos, it's going to take you 5 hours to record a half-hour video. But if you do it live, you just have to keep going. Yep. You say one wrong word, you say, I just messed up. Keep going, fix it. So with my clients, I tell them all the time, do your Facebook lives, do your trainings live on Facebook. That way you get the adrenaline, you get the engagement with people, you get the energy. So you shine differently. If you're in front of a camera that nobody's watching, you're going to be bland and no energy, and it's going to take so much time because you're going to repeat so many times.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I would say it's a complete game changer to do your course live the first time. I get some resistance from people who are like, I just want to record it. I just want it to be automated. I'm always like, nope, do it live. And here's the thing is that you can do it live virtual, right? Kind of like this, where you're saying like show up and do it live on Facebook. If you are the kind of person who wants to do it live in person, like you can do your beta live in person. I mean, other than COVID, right? But you could do it live in person and just like schedule a day or schedule a couple of days and do it that way, right? So you're not restricted to a specific model to do it live. You can choose how you want to do it and in what time frame you want to do it in, which gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of you know, how you're going to show up and do your online course. So there's a dozen different ways that you could do it depending upon what works best for you. All right, cool. So this is just another example of, this is Kelly, and she, you know, really focused on, she had to build her entire thing before she got it out there, before she taught people. And so she went out and, you know, created kind of Angela's same thing, right? She went out and created this really long 12-week program that she, you know, worked really hard on and created all the deck and all the videos and all the things. And then, you know, it didn't work. Not only was she not energetic about selling it after she had done it, right? I don't know if you're like this, Angela, but like, I think some people get super excited about building something. And then once it's built, they're like, okay, now I'm done. Now I'm ready to move on to the next thing instead of like selling it, right? So part of the pre-sale gives you that energy that you need to get people in while you're creating it.
And we also get imposter syndrome. We record something and it's like, you know what, it's not good enough yet.
Yep.
So we want to re-record it.
Yep. Yeah. And so she totally switched her model. She came into Learn Academy, totally switched her model, and did her pre-sale, did her course, and now she's rocking it. And it's got the right path. I think she went from like 12 to 6 steps, the right path, and she's able to help people get results. So just an example of that. So this is my favorite question for everybody, as you look at, you know, defining your superpower and really looking at jumping over these 3 mistakes. The big one being just staying in, you know, kind of the one-on-one or done for you services, not packaging what you're doing. And then when you do decide to package, to wait and build all of it before you go, is you sort of have 2 paths to take, especially during this time of COVID. I don't know about you, Angela, but I have found in some cases I have more time, in some cases I have less time because I have a lot more children here in my office with me. But during this time, especially, there's sort of the 2 different things you can do with the time that you have, right? The first one is you can just hang out and catch up on Netflix, right? I don't know if anyone is doing this, right? You have more time right now where you're not doing some of the regular things that you're doing. So you kind of start to binge watch Netflix. That's a choice, and it's something that you could certainly do. Or you could get in the game and start teaching and pre-selling your online course to take what you're doing from your one-on-one services, your coaching, your consulting, and package it up into an online course that allows you to move to that one-to-many model, to separate your time from your income and really start scaling your business. So that is my question for you today, is which path are you going to take? Netflix or jumping in and starting to work on your online course? So
jumping in and starting to work on the online course. Everybody needs to get in that train.
Everybody needs to do that.
Yeah, if you said Netflix, we have a big problem right here.
Well, Netflix is interesting, right? It's just not really the best use of our time.
I love Netflix.
Right, but what's crazy is, you know, how many people, you know, out there, this is the choice, right? And as entrepreneurs and people who are out trying to make a bigger impact in the world and help people, yeah, I mean, there's just no other option, right? Is to figure out how we can get out there and help more people and still really have the freedom to go and do what we want to do to build our life and lifestyle in the way that serves us as well. So I will leave you with this, and Angela, you can find a place to put the link for this, but I do have a step-by-step guide that has some key questions for you to get started in creating your signature online course. So that is a free gift for you and your people that you can grab the link for. And then I'll just open it up for any questions that you guys have or anything that's come up that you want to go over, Angela.
Yes, absolutely. So let's recap. So mistake number one, guys, one-to-one done for you clients only. And here's the thing, you should be doing both, right? We love, as entrepreneurs, we love working one-to-one clients. Like that's what I enjoy the most in my business, helping my one-to-one clients and giving them the results. But just imagine having those one-to-one clients working the exact same hours that you're doing right now, but also having another stream of income that if you lose one client today, it doesn't matter. You're not in that scarcity mind that we as entrepreneurs, we suffer so much with, because we go in a roller coaster with clients. Like 1 month we have 10 clients and the next month we have only 2. But if we have an online course and different offers that we can have that stream of income on the other side, then we can enjoy working with our clients even more.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, Angela, it gives you the opportunity to say no to some clients that maybe aren't the best fit.
Yes.
Which is the other way to look at it too, is you get to pick and choose versus having to take on a client that maybe isn't the best fit because of that income challenge.
And I think all of us, when we started in this entrepreneurial journey, we went through that. We had to say yes to every client that came, even if they were tire kickers or really annoying clients. We were like, yeah, I'll work with you, I need the money. But having that extra income from an online course will allow you to really enjoy working with your clients, working with people that you can be the hero to and really give the results. So think about how you can do both. And I love the idea. When I get my clients, I have to educate them so much in like our strategy and how to do so many things. Like, why not just record that and sell it to other people? You still have it for your clients, but then sell it to other people so they can learn from you too. That is brilliant. Love it. All right, so we don't have any questions on the Facebook live stream. If you guys have any questions, make sure to do it right now. Or if you're watching the replay, just comment and give us some questions. Sarah and I will take a look at it. I absolutely love these. This is like, it reminded me of all the mistakes I made as an entrepreneur, and it reminded me not to do them again.
Right.
Which is awesome. And yeah, so send me the link so I can put it in the comments and everybody can get that awesome guide, and also where we can get the slide or the sheet that you shared with the metrics on how much you're going to earn as a one-to-one service. And then with the online course, I would love to get that too and give it to our audience. And yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Yeah, good. Well, thanks for having me. It's been fun, and I can't wait to hear about all of the new superpowers that are going to come out in the world.
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting because right now with the entire pandemic thing, people that had never done online courses are now getting into online courses. So if you think that it's too late to start your online course, I'm telling you right now, this is the perfect moment. Yesterday, I was with my niece, and she was so excited telling me how she got this new online course on how to train her new puppy. She was so excited about it. I was like, wow, about a year ago, she would have never thought about learning these things online, she would have just sent the dog to school or, like hire someone. But now with the pandemic, this is the perfect moment to go online, teach people everything that your superpower, take it online. This is the best moment to do it.
Well, and what's fascinating, it's a $382 billion industry, online courses, and that was before COVID. So
wow.
I'm not sure what's going to happen after COVID, but that number is going up significantly. So yes, it's time to get in the game.
Yep. I always say there's always something good out of a bad situation.
Yep.
And yeah, COVID was a mess. Last year was a freaking mess. Everybody was in quarantine. But there's so many things, so many good things that came from it. And we need to leverage those good things, like online courses.
Yep. Awesome. Cool.
Thank you so much for that awesome presentation. That was so informative. We learned so much. And guys, Tara is here for you. Whatever you need, you have her contact. You can contact her on Facebook. Go to her link. I'll put it in the comments. And just make sure to download that guide right now. Okay? Awesome, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
so much. Bye, guys. Awesome. That was great.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Loved it.
Yeah, you bet. I'll send you that link real quick on Messenger.
Yes, I'll put it on the live stream and nice. Oh, Jason is live too. Awesome. I am melting in this room.
You could come to Minnesota. I should show you what it looks like outside. Hang on.
I'll show you how it looks outside.
You see?
Oh no. Well, I was in Massachusetts and I do not like the summer. I live in the equator, so
nice.
My weather never changes. We don't have seasons here, so we always have beautiful weather. It's not hot. Usually, where I'm from, it's usually cold, unless you're under the sun, because since we're in the equator, the sun rays are super straight and they burn you. It's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Your address, because thanks to you, I started implementing the same thing. Actually, that sparked my brain. I was like, Russell has been teaching us the Dream 100 strategy for years. And I'm like, I need to start implementing it. So send me your address. I can send you a little gift. And yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And yeah, I'll send you that link too right now. So I'll do both of those right now so you have them. All right.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Bye.